There are so many fantastic educational chess YouTubers out there, but sometimes it can be very difficult to get the algorithm to land the right one for you on your homepage. So in today's video, we'll be doing the second part of our educational chess YouTuber tier list so I can put the perfect creator just in front of your eyes. We'll not only be taking into account how educational these YouTubers are, but how digestible their content is, the quality of their content, and many other factors that come into play. If you'd like to see part 1 of this video, feel free to check out the link in the description and you might find your favorite creator there. Please also note that just because somebody is a great chess player or might be your favorite creator doesn't mean other people will think the same. Some people value different things when it comes to content creators, and that makes this list very subjective. I do also want to mention that I'm not going to be involving anyone in this tier list who does specifically rating climb. There is really no way for me to differentiate people that make this kind of content, so I decided to omit it from the list completely. It basically just comes down to whose personality you like more, and that's completely okay. Before we do start today's video though, I need to pay my bills and plug my coaching. If you feel like you've been stuck at chess recently and want to get to your next rating goal, feel free to book a lesson on my website in the description below. It helps support me and the videos I make, whilst you also get something in return. New students can also get 25% off their first lesson by using code FIRST at checkout. With that all being said, let's get stuck into the tier list. Noel's a relatively new creator on YouTube, with his first video being posted just 2 months ago. For those that don't know, he's also Alessia Santaramo's husband, and to be honest, there are many similarities between their channels. Although he currently has a limited range of videos, they're extremely high quality, and I love the fact that his videos are generally structured and he goes into them knowing exactly what he wants to teach. A lot of YouTubers will play chess games and they will only teach the concepts that come up in said game, so it's really refreshing to see someone who takes a more analytical and deliberate approach to their content. Noel is also a grandmaster, and although it may seem unfair to your favorite YouTuber, this obviously makes him a better creator as he is much more knowledgeable in the field of chess. The only real thing holding Noel back is the fact that he doesn't have too many videos on his channel, but especially considering Noel seems to be uploading weekly videos, I'm actually very happy to put him into the A tier. His videos are very different to what I see from the average creator. He's well spoken and obviously very knowledgeable, so I don't see what's not to love. ChessMind.AI. ChessMind.AI is a next-generation AI-powered chess improvement platform, who also happens to be the sponsor of today's video. Not only does ChessMind have completely free puzzles, but they also have a wide range of courses that you can select for less than $5 per month. All of the courses are handcrafted by Chilean Grandmaster Mauricio Flores, and are designed to make you a master of any opening variation in around an hour. They perfectly balance top-quality theory with ease of learning to take the boring out of any study. Once you've completed these opening courses, you can either play puzzles deriving from said opening, or dive into their AI integrations which quiz your knowledge on what you've just learned. The AI acts as a replacement for a coach, asking you to find characteristics of certain positions and explain the advantages and disadvantages. You can check out ChessMind.AI with the link in my description, where you can get 30% off your subscription. For all these reasons, I think it's pretty obvious that ChessMind.AI fits right into the S tier. No questions asked. Dr. Khan's Chess Clinic. Dr. Khan is one creator I would actually say is quite similar to Noel in the sense of his analytical approach. I really lean towards creators who establish a theme in their videos and don't wander off from what they initially set out to teach. Dr. Khan has an incredible variety of content on his channel, ranging from explaining concepts in chess to the analysis of master games. There is absolutely no filler content on his channel in order to upload more frequently, and every video is genuinely worth a watch. I really like his ambition with bringing people onto his channel with different perspectives too. This is something I plan on doing my own channel, but he does a great job of it. For example, in a recent video, he brought on I Am David Perez for a podcast going over the psychology of chess. His videos aren't really designed for the algorithm, which means he has significantly less views than all of the big creators, but if you're looking for educational content that will take you to the next level, he's definitely right up there. He's very experienced in chess, being a candidate master and FIDE instructor. Coupled with the fact that he has a PhD in cognitive science, I think Dr. Khan belongs in the A tier as well. Robert Ramirez. Robert Ramirez is a national master from the United States and has been posting some great educational content for several years now. I do want to clarify, just in case anyone makes the misinterpretation, Robert Ramirez and Alejandro Ramirez are separate people and are in no way connected. In his videos, he generally goes over one specific concept within chess that he thinks can elevate your thinking, and analyzes positions using said principles to prove that it works. It's a little bit difficult to properly judge his channel as a whole, as he's been extremely inconsistent with his uploads lately, but he definitely does have a lot of worthwhile content. Another negative thing about his channel is how difficult it is to navigate if you don't want to watch every single video. Some video titles and descriptions are so vague that you really have no idea if you even need to be learning what he's going to be explaining in the video. I think titles and thumbnails are so important for viewers to be able to navigate channels and find the videos they need most, and it's really difficult on Robert's channel. Whilst the educational value of Robert's channel is undeniable, the combination of an inconsistent upload schedule and the videos that are difficult to navigate puts him into the C tier. Arturs Neiksans. Arturs is another creator that benefits from his lifelong obsession of chess, granting him the Grandmaster title. This makes him more qualified than most people to be teaching chess, as his knowledge is undeniable. Like Robert though, Arturs' upload schedule is pretty inconsistent, mainly because he's still an active chess player at the top level and partakes not only in major tournaments, but also coaching many talented players like Levy Rosman. What I really like about Arturs is he doesn't waste his knowledge regurgitating the same beginner chess concepts a lot of other people do. He doesn't seem fazed by the fact that his advice for more advanced players will reach less people and is more focused on giving a unique insight to a specific demographic of players. In his videos, typically, he analyzes positions and walks the viewer through them from the perspective of a grandmaster, not worrying too much about explaining every basic principle to accommodate for those much lower rated. He sets out intending to teach one overarching lesson, with little bonus pieces of advice given along the way. Arturs is great, but due to the mix of good and bad things that we've listed, I think he belongs in the C tier.
Alright, so Jack thought it'd be funny to rank himself on his own tier list, so that's why I'm here. Jacksark is an Australian-based content creator who makes a wide variety of chess-related videos. My personal recommendation for those looking to take their game to the next level would be his opening repertoire series. As someone who's very busy and doesn't have much time to study chess, having someone else learn my openings for me is truly a godsend. His video on the Roy Lopez in particular is probably my favorite, and has absolutely skyrocketed my play. Now, while his videos are great, I think the biggest and most glaring flaw with his content is that he plays the London system. He even made an opening repertoire video for it, as if it takes 19 minutes to explain where the pieces go in the London. So while I really want to be nice and put him in one of the higher tiers, because he's a London player, I honestly think he should be put down in B tier. Also, go buy his coaching so he can pay his bills.
Miodrag Perunovic. Miodrag, or better known as The Butcher, is one of the better channels you can go to if you're looking for educational content on a ridiculously wide variety of openings. He's an international master, and I believe he's also the coach of the Serbian team, meaning he has fantastic credentials not only as a player, but as a teacher too. I actually remember in my video, How to Learn Any Chess Opening in 24 Hours, I actually watched a lot of Miodrag's content on the Sicilian Dragon, which I found super useful. Whilst his content isn't the easiest to digest, sometimes being up to over an hour long, it's definitely worth checking in on every now and then to see if he's uploaded a video on any of the openings you play, as you'll always find some kind of educational value in them. He uploads fairly frequently, a little over once per week, and it's very consistent top-level knowledge he's sharing. It really goes to show how much higher quality the words of a master can be in a YouTube video, as he has a complete and utter understanding of such a wide variety of opening lines he teaches on his channel. Because of the lack of diversity on his channel and the videos sometimes being a little long, I think Miodrag fits perfectly into the B tier with Arturs. MortalChess. Typically, I don't like recommending faceless and voiceless creators to my viewers, as it can be very difficult to hold someone accountable for any wrongdoing. For example, if somebody is found to be lying about their rating whilst offering paid services on their channel, it's impossible to stop them from just starting a new channel under a new name. I know that's maybe me being overly paranoid, but I do want to preface this segment with this, as I am going to be speaking very highly of this channel. For those that don't know, all of the videos that you watch on my channels are scripted. I write anywhere between 5 and 10,000 word scripts and then record them. I find it allows you to be so deliberate in what you mean and deliver the most concise and informative version of what you want to say. MortalChess delivers exactly that in their videos. I actually can't name many creators that are so deliberate with how they teach. And although the videos on MortalChess's channel are very simple game reviews, they are so engaging and actually teach you a decent amount. Due to the nature of their channel, I don't think it can be too high on this list, but it's no surprise to me that their channel is as big as it is. I think it belongs in the B tier. John Bartholomew. I said I wouldn't put anyone who does rating climbs on this list, however I feel like John Bartholomew is such a great creator and teacher that the exception can be made specifically for him. John is an international master from the United States and primarily plays games on his channel whilst delivering a live commentary of the moves he's making. He doesn't get over analytical whilst he's playing, but just explains the basic concepts he's trying to achieve during the games and saves the technical part for the game review. He's so well spoken and knows exactly what he's talking about when it comes to his games. In a way, his standard chess series almost reminds me of Danya's speedrun series with the amount of thoughtfulness and care he takes in his games and analysis. I know that's a big comparison to make, and obviously no one could ever replace Danya, but when I watch John's videos, I feel like I'm watching someone who's very like-minded. There's a lot of great things to say about John's videos. I think if you're an advanced player, he's one of the best creators you could be watching right now. If his content was a little bit more diverse, I could honestly see a world in which he fits into the S tier. But for now, I think A tier suffices. Kamryn Heidi. I actually found Kamryn's channel a few years ago when I put out what is now the biggest video on my channel, as she had similar experiences with chess and made a similar video. I think the best way to describe Kamryn's channel is by comparing her to your typical 2000 rated speedrun channel. However, instead of playing games and explaining her moves, she'll take the most instructive positions from games she plays off camera and explains them in her videos. I really like this format from an educational perspective, because it feels somewhat similar to a peer assessment or having someone as your own training partner. You are quite literally learning with her while she explains the positions she has analyzed. Although this is technically quite similar to what people like Noel Studer are doing, it's unique in its own way because Kamryn is not a top chess player, but has the same thought process that the viewer does. This leads to her problems being more relatable, and the solutions to her problems being easier to understand from the viewer's perspective, as it's quite likely you're at the same stage of chess as she is. This has its downsides, of course. Generally, you'd prefer a grandmaster who understands how more amateur players think than an amateur player who knows only how amateur players think. But it's a nice, safe middle ground, and I think it works well on her channel. Due to the nature of her channel revolving around her own journey to chess mastery, the channel does lack a lot of crucial components to put it too high on this list, but it certainly has its own value. For all the reasons we just listed, I think Kamryn belongs on the B tier. PowerPlayChess. Daniel King of PowerPlayChess is a grandmaster from England who's been uploading on YouTube for the better part of 13 years. What started as a channel revolving around the game analysis of historic chess matches quickly turned into one of the biggest hubs of educational content on the platform. Starting with his game analysis, they're super digestible, only being around 10 to 15 minutes, as Daniel has a great understanding of what the most important parts of the game are and seems to find the correct balance of explaining why certain things are played without spending too much time doing so. I particularly like Daniel's Puzzle of the Week series, in which he takes an interesting position he's found in a game or composition and spends a little bit of time going through his own thought process of how he'd solve it. Focused videos like this are so valuable in my opinion because a lot of YouTubers fail to remember not everyone has all the time in the world. And in this series, Daniel hits the nail on the head. I really like Daniel's channel overall, and although there is a little bit of a lack of diversity, the content is super digestible, which makes up for it. I will say though, the content isn't particularly unique. There are plenty of YouTubers out there who do a great job at the same format of videos, so it really just depends on if you prefer the way Daniel delivers these videos in comparison to other people. I think Daniel's great, but due to the fact so many other people make this kind of content, a lot of whom do it slightly better, I'm going to respectfully put him into the B tier. ChessNetwork. ChessNetwork is a similar channel to MortalChess, with two main differences to keep in mind. The first is that ChessNetwork, or Jerry, voices the channel with a human, national master voice, rather than an AI script. The other difference is that Jerry typically doesn't go over his own games, but looks through Grandmaster games and explains all the important middle game plans and what actually occurs in the game. If you're after some opening theory, ChessNetwork is probably not the right place to go, as the intricacies and small differences between opening lines is barely explained. However, Jerry does a good job at teaching how to make certain decisions once you're out of theory, and why most of the obvious moves might not be the best ones. His content is super digestible, going through just one game per video and not getting too stuck on the final details, but the overarching ideas that makes winners winners and losers losers. If you watch people like Agadmator, ChessNetwork is a very similar creator, with the only downside being the fact we can't put a face to such a handsome voice. However, due to the lack of diversity in Jerry's content, we obviously can't put him too high, but I think the B tier seems like a very good spot for him. ChessCoachAndras. Andras is an Australian international master whose content revolves around the analysis of chess, namely middle game plans, in a variety of different openings. One problem I have with Andras' videos is sometimes the theme of the video is too broad. For example, he has this video, Beating the Sicilians, 3 proven attacking schemes. Whilst this is by no means a bad video, it's not a video that targets a specific skill, which makes it difficult to learn. There is a ridiculous amount of attacking schemes you need to know to play the Sicilian. This is why speedruns are such a good option when it comes to explaining opening and middle game plans, because you literally need a catalog of 20 plus games from a single opening to even come close to showcasing a sufficient amount of attacking schemes for a particular opening. I know this sounds like a really harsh criticism, but I feel if you cover a topic but don't cover it in full, you're stunting your viewers' growth as they come into the video under the assumption that the concepts they've learnt within the video are all they need. Andras does this exceptionally well in his other videos though. For example, one of his most recent uploads is absolutely fantastic. It's on the French bishop exchange and how you should handle it from the white side. It targets a specific problem people might have with the white pieces, doesn't overcomplicate the issue, and once you've finished watching the video, you're left with all the knowledge you need, not just bits and pieces of it. There are plenty more good things than bad for Andras' channel. I just feel like when it comes to openings, his way of teaching just doesn't cover everything it needs to and leaves a lot to be desired. He's such a skilled player, and I think he really underestimates how much better a dedicated opening speedrun would be than teaching less than 5% of an opening per video in his current format. Overall, I really like his channel, and I can see why so many other people do. He gets bonus points for being such a good chess player in my eyes, and I think comfortably fits into the B tier. SquareOneChess. SquareOneChess is a huge YouTuber who I'm surprised I've never really heard of considering how popular his latest videos are. He's certainly taken a leaf out of Levy's book with all the videos about Magnus Carlsen, but his content usually revolves around Grandmaster games and analyzing what happens in them, and conveys the information well to intermediate chess players. This is a pretty saturated niche, with people like Agadmator and Gotham Chess revolving their channels around the same thing. However, Square One usually picks up on games that aren't covered by either of those channels, and certainly holds his own when it comes to the analysis. There isn't too much to elaborate on though. This is essentially the only content you'll find on his channel, and whilst it is educational to some extent, it definitely wouldn't be my #1 recommendation. The videos are digestible, but a severe lack of diversity paired with the fact that half of the games are just Magnus Carlsen means SquareOneChess will go right into the C tier for this video. ChessWisdom. ChessWisdom is another creator I hadn't heard of until I read the comments of my last video, and is essentially the exact same as SquareOneChess, but the videos specifically revolve around historic chess games and not modern ones. This is super refreshing to me, as these kind of games simply don't get covered on YouTube as much as they should, because the players are retired and not popular enough for the YouTube algorithm anymore. However, looking at some of the historic games with the leading guide of ChessWisdom is super interesting and educational, as we see lots of games where masters will play unsound moves and less theoretical openings. There is a fair bit of variety in the content too. Although most of his videos are based around some type of historical game, not all of them are game reviews, and ChessWisdom does have videos up on endgame strategy, tactics, and more overarching concepts. Again though, I think this channel, to me at least, is just more entertaining than educational. Are you going to get a whole lot better at chess from watching? Probably not, but I do think the channel is fantastic in its own way, just not so much in an educational one. For that reason, we'll put him into the C tier as well. And I think that wraps up just about everything for part 2 of our educational chess YouTuber tier list. I hope you guys understand that I can't include absolutely everyone in a video like this. I included basically everyone from the comment section of my last video, so hopefully I've put you in the right direction of some really good creators here. Other than that though, I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one.